Hello, hello, and welcome back, Changemakers. We're so happy to have you all here in this group, and we are so excited. We are just scooting all over North America today, and today we get to go back into Canada, and I'm so excited to have with us our guest, Denise Cambiotti. How are you, Denise? Tell everybody just
Hi,
what you do.
I'm happy and healthy. Thanks for asking. I'm excited about your group and the fact that you are bringing wellness providers together and to work together and collaborate with one another. That's just such a great thing. And how you are building pods and teams of people to support the endless number of people out there that there's a lack of either knowing that there's help for them because they're just stuck in what they've been told, or that they are so tired they don't have the energy to go look for help, and everything in between, or not even knowing that anything in the complementary health stuff, some of it's gosh darn effective, right?
Yes.
I love your vision. I fit in with that. I basically have started simplifying what I do, stupid simple. I actually realized it the other day when I was in a network event and I said, I hope people feel better. And everybody sat forward. And it was way better than some of the lines my business coach, like, oh, I'm an electrician for the body. I work with your meridian pathways without needles. And, I help you feel fitter and stronger, faster, and, all that, I do muscle testing to identify where your hidden blocks are and what to do to release them. They don't care about the how, they don't care about the what. I realize everybody's just looking for is to feel better. And whether that's in their body, their mind, their soul, because they're all connected.
Mhm.
Ah,
Are.
so if you can get somebody rolling along a little bit better in any of those areas, that's a really big thing to help the planet with at any time, but especially right now. So that's a little bit about what I do is I love to teach people to do good quality muscle testing, whether that's to help themselves or to be the service provider doing it for other people, and both as a therapeutic model and as a self-care model.
Mm, and we need more of that self-care these days. That is totally a fact at this point. So you were telling me earlier about some of the interesting things that you have seen in your practice that people wouldn't necessarily get it right away. I mean, can you tell us just a little stories here or there about some of the things that you've seen and where pain is not really the pain you think it is?
So I think there's three things I want to say is I was busy doing life, about to start a new family, working at business. I had recurring headaches that for about a year I'd been taking pain relievers 3 or 4 times a day at least for at least a year. And that wasn't really healing anything. I had a pain in the neck that sent me to the chiropractor's office, and they did the thing called muscle testing, and I didn't know what that was. And it's actually not testing muscles, it's testing how your nervous system is doing talking to the rest of your body, or whether somebody's gone offline, which is not good. That causes
No.
pain eventually because the parts that go offline, other parts have to work harder and they get pissed off. So I had this appointment where I got two little chiropractic adjustments after he says, all this, that, and the other thing, they're all connected. And I thought, you're wackadoodle in my head. I never said it out loud. Oh, God bless him. After tiny little, chiropractic thing, he retested all the muscles that were previously gone to lunch. And I felt this vitality and the strength inside of me. And I went, this is what I want to do when I grow up. And I said, so how long does it take you to learn to do this stuff? He says, 8 years. And I went, well, not, not going to happen. But then I was walking through the library and I moved to another area and I was at the library and it says learn muscle testing. And I went, wow, you don't have to be a doctor to learn this stuff. So that was the start of my journey, is understanding that vitality can come, that you can do things, with support. And he would send me home with things that keep me in shape between appointments. So there was that. And then as I studied, I recognized how important it was that a lot of times you go to see a therapist or therapists see a problem here. This shoulder hurts like crazy. I can't lift it. I can't do this or that. And they're treating on the side. But sometimes you are so stressed out. Your nervous system has mixed the neurological signals. The problem that's actually sometimes the opposite shoulder or another part of the body. So
Wow.
often what I want to tell people is if you've got chronic pain and it feels better for a short time, but it keeps coming back, the right area is not getting the right attention. Any
Mm,
attention. It's not even being found. So that's a
wow.
message I want to get out there. And that's one of the beauties of muscle testing. It's truly biofeedback. We ask the body, the biology, hey, give me feedback about this, that, the other thing. Is this firing? Is this nerve talking to this muscle? Is your brain connected? And I cannot tell you how important recognizing that emotions cause at least 98% of dis-ease. Now, whether
Yes.
that's true disease where a doctor's diagnosed you or you're just not comfortable, science is now coming out as like, oh gosh darn, yeah, maybe emotions do play a big part of it. And yes, toxins, diet, stress levels, all that contribute, but all that's getting triggering emotions, or emotions are triggering you not managing the other stuff. And I have
Mm,
seen people release a frozen shoulder by working for about 3 minutes, maybe 3 minutes, at saying, let the stress go that you're holding, wherever it is in your body, let it go, and is gone. And one of my first
wow.
public presentations, this woman's looking at her mother like she's got horns coming out of her head. And I'm going, does anybody want to share anything? And she's going, I do. And her daughter's like looking at her, and I'm going, okay, what would you like to share? And she's going, my shoulder's not frozen anymore. And anybody can do this. I didn't even know what I was doing. I just got invited to a bookstore to give a presentation to help a colleague had a book that was put out there. And I
Oh
went, yeah,
my,
I'll go give a talk.
that is amazing. So amazing. And you're right. I mean, oh my gosh, doctors have been saying for years that one of the major cause of all illness is stress. But for some reason, they never seem to connect the idea of stress as having something to do with an emotional response. It's like, why is that so hard to comprehend? I don't get it.
Well, let's face it. I haven't gone to school for 8 years to be a talk therapist, right? A
Right.
psychoanalyst, any of that. That's not my job. I don't want to mess around inside somebody's head. And you don't need to if you don't do talk therapy. You
Mm-hmm.
can just coach somebody with a few general prompts and let their whole nervous system unwind it for themselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And anybody that can learn to clear emotions a little bit for themselves day by day, do that consistently, their entire lives can change. You've seen this, haven't you?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yep. I've lost too many people to severe depression and eventual suicide. And, anything we can do to empower people so that they can start to talk. You were talking about self care earlier. There's so many simple things we can do in the way of self care that can kind of bring that tension level back down, and we all need to be learning those things. So blessings to you that you are out here teaching people.
Well, you know who I see the most in my business. So, may I mention my business name?
Of course,
Okay,
please.
so I started Muscle Tuners International because I wanted to teach people how to check muscles from head to foot and clear the stress at an electrical level, an emotional level, and then not just the muscles. Like we didn't name the company correctly, but we couldn't go after body tuner because of trademark.
Mhm.
But we could get muscle tuner. But the thing is, muscles are connected to tendons. They're connected by the ligaments. There's fascia around muscles. all these things. There's blood supply, neurological supply, there's lymphatic supply. All this is going on when you're looking at an interface of a muscle and how we can assess it and clear stuff so all those levels of your body work better. And I promote a lot to massage therapists so that their job's not so hard on their bodies and that they have a backup plan if they get tired of doing massage. And it turned out I'm getting all the healers who are injured because they can't help themselves. Their colleagues aren't able to help them. And massage is fabulous for so many things. However, some people are blocked in their healing journey and they go for massage, they go for physio, they go for chiro, and I love, love, love all of those things. However, if the brain has literally shut up because this thing's been screaming and saying, I'm not taking any more information from you. Goodbye. Stop screaming. Shut it off. Park it in a cupboard somewhere. Now you go and try and get therapy on that. But the brain's not connected. So the therapy is not getting through to the brain.
Wow.
And this is the missing piece, that if your therapy, whether you're receiving it or giving it, if it's not lasting more than 5 minutes or a day or a week, the brain just needs that signal rebooted, reset. It's like a circuit breaker in my house. I live in an older home. And the other day I was running the toaster and the kettle at the same time, and they were both in the upper plug. And I blow a fuse because both of them draw a certain amount of electricity.
Yep.
Now, I can run them just fine if I remember to plug them onto the, the upper plugs or the lower plugs, but I can't.
Yep.
Anything that draws too much power, I can't have them on the same circuit at the same time. Our bodies are the exact same thing. We have a number of muscles that are on, you got 14 circuits in the body, and you got a lot more than 14 muscles. So if you overuse a couple of them for too long, or for, cause some kind of stress, it's like Christmas lights on the Christmas tree. You got to find that one bulb.
Yep.
You change that one bulb and the whole Christmas string of lights comes back on board. The body's exactly the same thing. And that's where, if people have been stuck, I would invite them to learn about biofeedback to figure out what's going on for them, and to stop working on the part that's screaming, because the part that's screaming is probably not the part that needs the help. At least not
Gotcha.
first. First things first.
So I didn't think to ask you this earlier. I mean, are you able to help people virtually?
Oh, you betcha.
Cool.
We've been working on Zoom since before the pandemic, and we always taught online and then had a follow-up seminar afterwards where we hauled the projector and the books and the equipment and all that, and the massage tables, and we go to different venues and set up. And we found out during the pandemic that with online support, and the people can keep reviewing all our videos and then having question and answer period and activities I can do, it works online. I've got another story. About 3 years ago, I had a catastrophic injury, nearly took myself off the earth. And in my healing progress, when I was feeling, somewhat better, I was like, okay, it's the summertime. Who's here in the room? Let's have a chat. And there was a physiotherapist in Arizona who was very, very new. And I says, I remember you said you wanted to work virtually. And she says, yes, I do. I says, today's the day. And she's like, what? I says, do you know how to do self-muscle testing? She says, well, yeah, I do know how to do that. I went, great. That's one piece I don't have to spend 5 or 10 minutes teaching you to do. Look in the manual, say for Denise, what is the best muscle to support her with today? And she picked a muscle, and I says, pretend I don't know anything. Show me the range of motion. So she says, this muscle does this. And I said, okay, this side knows how to do it. How about on the damaged side? That's it. That's as far as she goes. And she's going, okay. I says, now what? She says, now what? I says, muscle test which of the reflexes I need to activate, and then coach me to do them. So she showed me 3 reflexes. And after the first one, my arm went like that. After the second one, my arm went like that. And I was like, wow, that's significantly different. And then after the third one, I could do this.
Wow.
I know. And so I impressed myself and I went, wow, I've always been the one, on the side of the treatment table. Now I'm the one on the treatment table and this stuff really works. And so I do
Wow.
run bi-monthly webinars, master classes to teach this to massage therapy type people or anybody that wants to start a career in health and wellness. And I know it works consistently. Over 90% of my attendees have a significant improvement. And there have been in the years just a couple who have said, and I mean maybe two, are going, yeah, I didn't really notice a difference. And the rest of the percentage, they notice a difference, but not on everything. But pretty much every single one of them had an experience like this. Like, what just happened? Maybe not for every muscle of their body, but they got that kind of feedback. And we can assess things online and we can say, hey, you know what? There's an acupressure point right between here and there. Move your finger over. Oh, yeah, there you go. There you go. Do you feel like you're between the bones? Good. Just rub there for a little while. Just do what I do. And we can coach them to do this. And then we say, okay, now do this, do that, do 1, 2, 3 reflex activations, and then recheck the muscle. So I'm sorry. I am so passionate about this. I could talk all day.
That's all right. I love your passion. That's exactly what we need is more passionate people out here helping people feel better.
Just
I love
feel
it.
better. Do you know how excited I
Absolutely.
was? As a clinician, I aim to get every muscle I test improved 100%, unless there's been like a major trauma. That's my goal. And I finally, being on the other side of the treatment table, went, wow, in under 15 minutes to go from here to here. Do you know how excited I was just to
I
fix
bet.
one muscle?
I bet.
And
Yeah.
then because that muscle worked, a whole bunch of other muscles came on board over the next few days. It was exciting. I can't tell you how exciting it was.
Oh, that is so awesome. So awesome. And it's just, people just, there's too many people who still don't understand what's possible. I mean, yeah, I think of your story of taking all those painkillers, for headaches for days and weeks on end. And it's like, no, that is not what we're supposed to do. That
I'm
is,
so
there's so
sorry,
much.
liver. I'm just so sorry I did that to you.
Exactly. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm really curious. Do you have any kind of big visions for the future of what you'd like to be involved in?
Oh man, do I ever. So, besides replicating an aspect of myself for those people to go out and affect their communities, and to do that either in person or one to many over Zooms and things, my really, really, really big, 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 audacious goal, which was the term back when we were starting the company, I would love to take people out of the science track at university and say, if you're looking for a healing career, because there's so many people in Canada now who have got a degree, but they can't find a job.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know if that's happening in your part of the world. Um, I'm just going, gee, why don't you become a muscle tuner specialist and the satisfaction you'll get will be amazing. We train you from the ground up. You don't have to know anything. You don't even have to have a science background. You just want to, like, people want to be a fitness trainer or they want to be in a healing thing, but they think it's going to take them like 4 to 8 years to do it. No, we can get
Yeah.
it done in about 4 to 8 days. You can be
Wow.
relatively competent and then you go on to master the skill. Um,
Mhm.
where am I going? So that's my big, hairy, audacious goal is really to have corporations have a muscle tuner specialist on staff.
Wow.
So
That's
do you have Home Depot down there?
yeah.
Let's just pick on Home Depot. Do you know what they have to pay for workplace injury when people pull or strain a back muscle?
Oh, I can't imagine, but I know it's astronomical.
And do you know the worst industry in Canada, at least in my province, are healthcare workers. They're being
Oh,
injured at work all the time because they're
wow.
stressed, they're reaching, they're lifting patients, or sometimes they get whacked by somebody who's, off their meds or on meds or whatever it is.
Whatever.
We need somebody doing this kind of work in every corporation in Canada. And my vision is to have somebody say, I'll do the South Campus of your company on Mondays, and then I'll travel and see your employees in the North and the employees. So let's say the company has 4 units and they just spin around, and that employees, once a month go in for a 20 to 30-minute tune-up. That is my big vision. If there's anybody on this listening to this recording that knows how to make that happen, please let me know.
Wow. That's amazing. And and I think you will see more of that start to happen. Like we were talking about earlier, here in the US, the US spends more money on healthcare than any country in the world, but our results rank somewhere around 49 or 50. So that to me says, well, there's all these things that were put on planet Earth that can help us, that the medical system in this country has not been allowed to be trained in, has not been allowed to investigate, has not been allowed to do. And so, here we're now, because our youth are so obese now, they're predicting that we now have generations that the young people may die before their parents. So that's why they're talking about making America healthy again, because we are sick. So, definitely it's time to incorporate more of these other things into the healthcare systems. And I don't care what part of the world you're talking about. I just know that here we are in a mess.
Well, people talk with their wallets.
Mm,
And we see people in Canada that, like, thank goodness I had great, amazing medical care when I was injured. But they take you a certain part down the road and say, okay, that's it. And I'm going, wait a minute, I'm only, early 60s and I'm going to work until I die. And the
mhm,
fact of the matter is with the injury I have right now, I can't fully operate at my job. And they're going, oh, you're still working? And I'm going, well, yeah. And so I can get range of motion back, but there was no stability because I had bones that hadn't mended. They were like,
uh,
you don't get a lot of
wow.
stability there. So they finally agreed, even though I was over 40 years old. One doctor in
Mm,
training looked at me and says, well, you're too old and you're a female. And I was like, wait a minute, what?
mm.
I'm too old? He said, so who's going to make the decision? You or the surgeon? And he went, well, the surgeon. God bless her. She was coming down the hall and heard the exchange, and she'd come out of the room, and I heard her saying, I heard what you told that patient. And she came back and she explained that typically the type of injury I had, they don't repair after age 40. And I had that as a guideline. But I'll tell you that after I had my team of my customers working on me virtually, I had my naturopath, I had my chiropractor, my medical doctor was just watching everything from afar. But every single one of them, the surgeon, the medical doctor, the naturopaths, and the chiropractors, even they said, you have healed remarkably well. And I went, yeah, for somebody my age, right? And they went, no, because don't listen to what the medical people say about before and after age 40. No,
Wow.
you healed better than even a lot of the kids have. And it's because I was getting muscle tuning done, because I was getting support. It wasn't just an injury to one part of my body. I had a shock wave that went through my entire body. I had
Wow. Yeah.
acupressurists helping me do acupressure to calm my nervous system down after the injury. I had a colleague in Costa Rica help me with a hiatal hernia. I'm going, how the heck do you know I had a hiatal hernia? Yeah, I'm getting acid reflux lately since the accident. She calmed that down. Do you know how important it is to keep your acid in your stomach so that you can absorb all your minerals to repair those broken bones?
Hmm.
Um, it's
Oh,
just endless. And so I want, even for me, being where I was in the complementary approach, even I was shocked at some of it, but I never once doubted I couldn't get back to 100%. I
wow.
never once doubted it. And I had a team of people who helped me with it, and I shocked every single one of them, apparently.
I love
So that's a message I want to give to people is if you believe magic and miracles can happen. Just keep asking questions, keep finding the right person for you. If it's not working, change. Not one therapy is going to be good for everybody.
That's a fact. That's a fact. And those are such wise words for sure. If people wanted to check you out, find you in some place, I'm betting something about muscle tuners is a way they can find you, but please tell people how they can find you.
Well, I am not the muscle tuners that works on power cars, you
Okay.
know, race cars and all that.
Yes, yes.
But my website is muscletuners with an S.ca for Canada. And
Okay.
my email address is denise@muscletuners.fit, like the first three letters of fitness. Haven't quite
Ah.
got around to swinging over the email address yet, but that's where all my data for 8 years is. So I'm leaving that alone for now. But Denise
Mm,
at muscletuners.fit, we have free tips that anybody can use on our website, muscletuners.ca. You throw in your name and email address, you will not be harassed. Trust me, I don't send endless autoresponders. Just touch base every once in a while and say, hi, how can I help you? Or this is the latest thing that's coming up. So there's 6 or 7 different free tips there right now for people for vitality, reducing pain, shoulder stuff, because shoulder stuff is really big. Yeah,
mm.
so thank you for asking how people could find me.
Oh, absolutely. You definitely are somebody that should be found. I'm all for feeling better, and everybody resonates with different things. I had a friend who put it very well. He said everybody can hear somebody, but not everybody can hear the same somebody. So that's why I don't fear competition. I don't get into any of that. It's like, if you don't feel like I can help you, here, let me see if I can connect you with somebody and you can test that one out, right? So that's what I'm all about. Let's collaborate. Let's make America and Canada healthy again. How's that?
How about we make North America healthy again?
Or the world,
How
why
about that?
not? We'll go for it.
Well, I agree. The
I love
Canadians
it.
are following in your footsteps. We're eating the wrong food. We're sitting just as long. We have the same kind of stresses.
Mm, mm,
It's time to take charge of our wellness. And I think one of the
yes.
most powerful things for me was helping somebody transition. For years before she transitioned, she couldn't get out of her chair without assistance. She was
Oh,
living in her easy boy in her living room.
oh, wow.
And I go, how do you get to this stage? And in her head, she still felt young. She felt fine. Her knees hurt, but it's like the lobster that you put in the cold water and you turn on the heat and it gets hotter and hotter, and the lobster doesn't realize it's too late until
Yep,
it's too late.
please.
I watched that happen with her. I watch it happening with other people.
Mm,
And I just say, one day when you bend over and can't put your socks on anymore, you better start taking action right then, because not very far down the road, it's going to be too late.
mm,
So
mm,
I
mm.
believe in miracles, but for as far as self-care goes, you can regress by making better food choices, getting a bit more exercise, going to see a couple of healers, taking care of your stress. All that can disappear literally in a very short order if you put your attention on it. But do have for me, it's bending over to put my socks on while I'm standing on one leg. And when I
Mm.
can't, because as a senior, do you know that one of the first things to go that predicts problems is not being able to stand on one leg, and never mind one leg and then your eyes closed? If you
Mm.
cannot do that for at least 10 seconds, you're heading down the wrong road.
Oh
So
my.
I don't sit on my bed or on a chair to put my socks on every day. I force myself to get my balance and put one sock on. with the other
Wow.
sock on. And the days where I'm wobbly, I take action right away because 3 years ago I had a really bad fall. Not
Mm.
because of my body, just I was in a bad place and something happened. But falling is the number one cause of decline for so many people over the age of 60.
Wow. Wow.
And it starts before you're 60.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm not sure that I can stand on one foot and put a sock on. I really am not sure I can do that. I'm gonna have to go find out.
I've got tricks for you. That'll be another episode.
I love it. I love it. Well, you have given us so many tips and thoughts and things to think about. I appreciate you greatly. So glad you were able to join me today. You've already given us many words of wisdom. Do you have any final oomph that you want to put out there?
Okay, sure. Every muscle is connected to an organ or a gland through the beautiful electrical system known as the acupuncture meridian system.
Mhm.
So if you have something that's not working properly, don't ignore it. Deal with it. Because if you don't, that muscle and its buddy muscles, they're literally not able to support you internally. Your wellness is not as vibrant as it could be. So take the outside indication as well. Okay, that's been off for more than a couple of weeks. Go do something about it.
Wow. Powerful thought. Powerful thought. Well, thank you again for being here. We are very grateful for your time today. And we thank all our change makers for tuning in here. And, if this gal seems like somebody that you might be able to collaborate with, please do reach out to her because she is a wealth of information. And I can just imagine there's all kinds of ways that people could collaborate and integrate with an even more powerful healing system by coming together. So let's come out of the silos, let's get together, and let's figure out how we can make the planet healthier again. How's that?
I love working with communities with whatever their shtick is and say, I have something I can share with your group that will make a difference to their lives.
There we go. All right. Well, take care, everybody. We'll see you in the next interview. Have an awesome rest of your day. Bye bye.